Hello, normal player guy. Now today we're going to do a little bit of a quick video, hopefully, and that is on the three EZAs that have come out for the Super Strike events. One is a Kid Vegeta, one is a Mecha Freeza, and one is for Paikuhan, right? All of them are actually fairly usable, especially Paikuhan, who's actually pretty good. We're on Vegeta, so we'll have a look at him. Prior to this, it's pretty much the same thing, only it is just the last part of his passive is additional, and of course all these stats, these numbers have just been bumped. So he raises attack for the one turn. That is a 30% buff to attack with a 50% chance to stun the enemy. That is actually not too bad. He is an AGL type of 77%. You'll find the Freezer and the Pycon will be along the same lines. So he gets 100% when performing a super attack. That's up by 40%. That's good. He gets an additional attack and defense 20% with each attack performed. So again, that's increased. So that's pretty good. So you'll end up with 100% at the start of turn when this is built up. So prior to that, you need to super attack first. Okay. So you're gonna super attack, then you're gonna get this. So you're gonna be on 120% actually. Let's see, he gets an additional attack 20% with each super attack performed. So again, your attack will be at about 140, no, 150 even straight off the bat, with your defense being 120. Plus an additional defense 50% with another youth in attacking in the same turn, and an additional defense 50% with another gifted warriors attacking in the same turn. Now that is actually reasonable. There is a youth and a gifted warriors that are out there, especially with these links we'll come to. Let's see. He launches an additional attack that has a 30% chance of becoming a super attack with 3 or more key spheres. That's easy. So he's going to be doing additional attacks and he's going to be building up. Crits could be a good way to go to maximize the increase in attack. Possibly dodge as well, because he's going to build up fairly quick. And remember, he's not going to be the hardest hitting unit. He's free to play. He's very old. Let's see. Originally would have been introduced. Well, it's hard to say because his awakening would have been years old, like 2017. So let's see. From turn one, you're going to have nothing until you super attack 100%. You'll then get an additional 20%, so that'll go to 120. You'll then get an additional 20 attacks, so it's 140 attack. And then you'll launch on another attack. So you'll end up doing 2 attacks. So that's 2 of your 5, right? So on the next rotation, so turn 3, you'll probably be almost fully built up. You'll need it to get this just to actually have it actually to have any form of reasonable stats. His links are actually pretty good for what it requires for youth and gifted warriors. So gifted warriors is basically Freeza and Vegeta, right? Plenty on there. Youth, well, youth as it is, there's Vegeta family in the same warrior race, prodigies, same lineage, royal lineage, shattering the limit. So they're all pretty common ones. Super Strike and Bombardment are specifically for these Super Strike units, right? Don't worry too much. You're not really going to trigger them. There is, funny enough, a STR superclass. It is a Trunks. Now he won't qualify as youthful gifted warriors, but he would probably trigger quite a lot of these, including Strike, Super Strike, and Bombardment. However, alongside him, there is also another one which you could use, and which you can get both of these triggered out for youth and gifted warriors, right? Who's also a pretty decent unit, and that would be Physical Trunks, Physical Kid Trunks, who had his Easy 8. Now, if we can just get to this page, we'll have a look. So so this guy, he is on both of them, right? He's on Gifted Warriors and Youth, and he's fairly decent. He's going to raise his own stats for a few turns, right? You're not going to get any of this extra bit, right? It's not going to work around it. But you are going to get Royal Lineage and Shattering the Limit out of it. So you can actually get some good ones on there whilst triggering both Gifted Warriors and Youth to get that extra bit of defense for that Vegeta, right? For that Kid Vegeta. Overall, fully built up, he's going to be quite a fairly decent one, right? He's going to be quite a fairly decent unit to have a crack at. We'll just wait for this to catch up. Here we go. So yeah, overall, that's not going to be too bad. That's fairly thought out. I suppose the only downside to what this guy might have would be if he raised attack and defense, right? You're probably going to show yourself up because remember you've got a super attack first. If you float this guy off, you're not going to build up quite as fast. So in terms of difficult content, I'm gonna basically put him only on the youth to get the extra bit of defense. Let's see. I mean, it is start of turn defense. You are going to get 100% start of turn defense. So running these, running that kid Trunks, it will allow you to be usable, but you gotta have him in a slot too. Realistically, you gotta keep him on rotation for a couple of turns just to build up, right? I suppose you could always build this around additional, right? So you can float him off, but uh, realistically, you probably want to go for crit and dodge. So the next unit coming up now is Mecha Freeza. So again, you get stats when key is 6 and even more when key is 9. Still the same sort of deal. Raises defense for the turn, so that's pretty good. And lowers attack. That'll be by 30% or 20%. It'll be one of the few. I think it's 30%, but only only for a turn. Physical and int type 70%. So if you're free to play a fresh, brand new account, you could grind this up. This could be quite interesting because you get 3 key and them. So not terribly bad. Much like Vegeta, you've kind of got to go first a little bit. So you get 100% to stats when key is 6 or more, plus an additional when key is 9 or more. So that looks fairly good. Additional attack and defense 50% when key is 12. So you get 250% for the start of turn uh, when your key is 12. So that's pretty good. You get an additional 50% to stats when the attacked enemy is in attack down status. And you get an additional 100% defense when all allies in the same turn are Wicked Bloodline characters. That's really good, actually. You have a 50% chance of critting when all allies are in the Resurrected Warriors category. Okay, so that's good. The You are probably going to get the last part there for the crit. The last part there for a crit for Resurrected Warriors, keeping in mind for the links, you're probably looking at Metal Cooler there, right? But Metal Cooler won't really have much. One of them will have Prodigies. They'll have Universe Most Malevolent, and occasionally they might have Shattering the Limit. I don't know too much about that. I've actually had a look. This guy doesn't have a fantastic partner. The partners are between any of the metal coolers, including the Inter LR. You've got the Barbershop STR Mecha Freezer and King Cold, right? Both of them between them, you'll get a few links out of there. You'll get like Prodigies, you'll get Universe Most Malevolent. Some of the times you'll even get Revival. But all round, pretty decent. On his Easy A, he's looking at around 7,500 defense, which is not the greatest. But when you factor in he's getting 100% plus another 100% plus an additional 50, so if you get 12 key, which will allow you to super attack, you'll be at 250%. Plus this will take you to 280% for defense, all right? And then of course you get an additional stats if you're in attack down, so that's pretty good. Chances of you getting that, probably. There's a few units that can actually do that, right? When this is really nice though, when all allies in the same turn are Wicked Bloodline, so that's quite common. 100% defense. That's really good. There are plenty of tanky units, plenty of great units now in the Wicked Bloodline, which is rocketed up to probably the top 5 teams. Really, I think it is in the top 5 now. With the caliber that's just come out with this worldwide download celebration, there is definitely room for this guy. This guy can be a floater, right? So you can just have him with his extra defense and extra attack and extra chance to crit. So he could be good to finish off certain enemies, but he is absolutely useful. Resurrected Warriors, Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, Cell Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Revenge, Inhuman Deeds, Gifted Warriors, and Sworn Enemies. So sworn enemies you can use. Inhuman Deeds will definitely be a reasonable one. Revenge, yes. Target Goku, yes. You would have to build this team basically as a transformation boost slash wicked bloodline. Prodigies you'll get with most Freezers. Mechanical Menaces you won't get. Bombardment and Super Strike you're not going to get. But Universe Most Malevolent, Prodigies, Revival, and Shattering the Limit are actually quite viable on Resurrected Warriors, Inhuman Deeds, Terrifying Conquerors, and Wicked Bloodline with Sworn enemies. Actually going to be quite a reasonable thing. Now, the next one is Paikuhan. Prior to this, let's see what he did. I can't remember. Oh, okay. So he had stats at start of turn and built up and gave allies additional attack. So he was a great support. So now he's AGL and STR type, 70% 3 key. So again, free to play, depending on how your summons go for when you first do them. You could end up using this guy. Of course, whether or not you're able to awaken him is another question. This probably would mean you'll probably have to grind a fair bit into the game. But yes, so let's see. He does nothing to his super attack effect outside of lowering attack and defense by 20% for 3 turns. So useful. Now, where this guy comes in is this guy can be used on much more higher caliber teams and can actually support greater units. He has 140% at the start of turn. You think about the rest that don't have that. I mean, Freeza has 100, right? And Vegeta can have, Kid Vegeta can have 100, but it all depends on how many attacks and what team he's on. He has additional 20% with each attack performed, up to 60%, so just 3 attacks. Let's see. All allies attack and defense 20%. So, okay, so no key yet, but all allies 1 key and 10% to stats. In addition, when all allies in the same turn are superclass, and when HP is 80% or more, chance of performing a crit hit 50. Okay, right, let me break this down. Okay, so it's kind of split into 2. So all allies are going to get 20% to stats, but you get an additional 1 key and 10% if all allies in the turn are superclass. And you will use them on a superclass team. So that's pretty good. As well, if your HP is 80% or more, you have a chance of crit hitting by 50%, which is pretty powerful. So that could mean the first rotation you could do some pretty decent damage, but then you won't. So 80% or more, you will have a 50% chance to crit. All enemies attack and defense minus 20%, and a 50% chance of stunning the attacked enemy when there is an extreme class enemy. Is that on the turn? Let me see what that requirement for that is. Yeah, for 1 turn. Okay, wow. Okay, so that's good because that means every time he comes round, he has a 50% chance on hit. Doesn't have to be a super attack, just on attack. You will lower their defense and have a 50% chance to stun for the turn. Must stress that's for the turn. So dodge would be a fantastic. No, yeah, dodge. Dodge would be really, really good because if you think about it, you could put him in slot 1 and 2. You can dodge, right? Especially in slot 1. Or if you have no attacks, you put him in slot 1. You have a 50% chance to stun one enemy right off the bat just by attacking, right? You also support those superclass allies. You're going to give them 30% attack and defense with 1 key. That's really good. So strictly super class. His links are really good, and I put up 2 tabs because, in particular, these are actually really good, especially with his links. This is well thought out. Experienced fighters, cold judgment, bombardment, shocking speed, super strike, soul versus soul, and shattering the limit. He's on worthy rivals, overworld warriors, saviors, battle of wits, and storied figures. Now, if I'm able to actually switch between the tabs here, experienced fighters and shocking speed will there is a particular group of units that will actually pop on well. So, for example, we check out shocking speed if we can, and you'll notice between the two, running a little slow today. We'll just wait for this to catch up. So there's a bunch of LRs which it's trying to load, and some of them in particular is the Tech Gogeta LR. It's probably not going to have a crack, but yeah, switching back. it's the Tech LR Vegeta, and it's also the STR God Goku and Hit. Both of them are on experienced fighters and shocking speed. That will allow you to run quite a good team. Otherworld Warriors as well. You can also run, of course, the Tech LR Gogeta. So again, superclass support with that great LR, right? You have them. You could do well on Otherworld Warriors, right? So again, well built out. I like this unit. Great support. Dodge would be a good one to build for this guy. So that's going to be the end of these videos. Shame we couldn't see open up those two tabs, but again, you'll just have to trust that the Tech Gogeta would have just been the best one for it right now. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope that was a great run through. I did try my best to showcase some great units into there, so you have a great idea. Between the three, Paikuhan is definitely my favorite. He's definitely going to work out quite a bit. And what is his easy A stats? He has 8,000 defense, right? He has 140%. He's lowering attack. He's giving support, and he's going to have a brilliant chance to stun. Legitimately, these three could run in Super Battle Road for sure. Extreme Super Battle Road, maybe Paikuhan and Freeza. Right, this guy is brilliant. In fact, for Extreme Super Battle Road, if you could run this guy, not just in Otherworld Warriors, but mainly monotype superclass, so UB versus Extreme STR, like that actually could be legitimate. You could make an argument for him. There's another unit he'd fare fairly well for in terms of stunning viability, and that would be the World Tournament AGL Hit. Right, legitimately could be a good one. To be fair though, I think one's extreme and one's superclass, so that probably wouldn't quite work. Okay, so that's going to be this video. If you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. Until the next